Hello to our friends out there. It's so good to see you guys today. I'm Holly Kessler. I'm the Senior Director of Community Relations at Crossnore Communities for Children, and welcome to The Way Home. This is a time we get together each week and we talk about different aspects of the work that we do at Crossnore, get to know you guys a little better, let you know us, get to know us better. And I like to introduce you each week to some of my friends and colleagues and let them talk about the work that they are doing here with children and families. And so this week, I'm super excited to have two of my favorite friends and colleagues from our Miracle Heights Adventures program, Andrew, Florence, and Peter Berry. So thank you guys for being here and welcome. We'll start out with each of you sort of just telling us a little bit about yourself and your life, your family, whatever you want to share. Andrew, you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah. Hey, I'm Andrew Florence. I'm the Director of Experiential Learning here at Crossnore. I am a father of two, so I've got a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old. And then we have a full house. We've got 2 dogs, 10 chickens, we got a snake, and we got a leopard gecko, because we just needed more love and more excitement and more experience. So in my free time, I really enjoy being outside, gardening or being in the sun, whatever it is that takes me outside with people. And I'm also a banjo player. And that's how I like to spend my time.
Andrew, you've got 2 of the cutest little boys, maybe next to Peter's little boy, but they are all boys. So I can just imagine all those animals at your house. So that's pretty funny. Peter, tell us about you.
Sure. I'm Peter Berry, and I have a little bit smaller of a family than Andrew. I've got my wife, Katie, and my 19-month-old son, little Henry, running around, and he's doing everything that I love doing in the outdoors, canoeing, doing a little bit of rock climbing. I'm excited to get him underground into a cave soon, but we've got 2 dogs and a pair of cats as well. And no chickens, Andrew, no snakes, no lizards, but we'll come and visit and see your farm sometime soon.
That's great, Peter. Thank you. So glad to have both of you guys here. Just wanted to invite our listeners to put a note in the chat if you just want to say hello and let us know that you're here. If you have a question, we'll take a look at that and see if we can answer that question. But to start us off, Andrew, why don't you tell us about Miracle Heights Adventures and what is the mission of the program that you guys run?
Yeah. So Miracle Heights Adventures engages groups in experiential learning activities that embody adventure, embody adventure, build resilience, and empower collective success. So we are really trying to connect groups, connect people, and provide meaningful experiential and adventure experiences.
That's great. And how does that then fit into the overall mission of Crossnore?
Yeah. So we know that our goal is to provide hope and healing for children and families. And a lot of times we have learned ways to do that didactically through therapies or through connections and relationships. And a lot of times it's really helpful to bring our bodies and to bring fun into that. And so when we are able to utilize experiential and adventure ed, we are able to bring our full selves into it. So kids often are able to get into those deeper levels of vulnerability and trust and relationship building when it's fun and when it's engaging and when it's novel and new. And so all of the different activities that we have, that we provide for the children and families that we serve through Crossnore and also through the public are really targeted towards that.
It reminds me a little bit of kind of side-by-side activities. Like I think about when my kids were teenagers and the best conversations we had were in the car when we're driving, because, we're both we're not sitting face to face. I'm not asking them to tell me about their lives, but all of a sudden they sort of open up when you're driving. And so I'm imagining that it's sort of similar to that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's also, it's so interesting. A lot of the work that we do is really super. It's super calculated, the risk and the kind of what we know we're getting into. We have dialed in a lot of those things in terms of being up in the air at 40 feet and what's possible and what are the potential dangers. But our bodies don't know that. Our bodies are experiencing this response, which is such a universal thing that we all experience in different contexts throughout our day-to-day. And so it's really meaningful and powerful to take what we learn and transfer it to outside of our adventure and experiential learning opportunities.
Well, speaking of being 40 feet up in the air, Peter, tell us about the actual sort of physical plant that we have here on the Winston-Salem campus that we call the Philip L. Van Every Outdoor Adventure Center. So tell us about that at the Adventure Center.
Absolutely. And so, Holly, here with the Outdoor Adventure Center, we have a great pavilion space where groups can come and congregate, and we can work through some more assessments and portable initiatives, games, and activities to break that ice and start building the foundation of these connections, driving forth the concept of connection before content there in that space. We have the low ropes course that has a number of initiatives that we're going a couple feet off the ground, but not quite 40 feet up in the air. That can enable us to stay maybe in a comfort zone area and work through some challenges together as a team. We have the aerial teams course, which gets folks about 20, 30 feet up in the air, working on 4 platforms. It's the second one in the world, one of 2. And it's just a great opportunity to bring a small team together, really popular with our corporate clients, to work through some challenges that might be done in a low ropes environment or they're in the pavilion with some prop-based initiatives, and have them focus on a challenge as a team in a small space where we can have a lot of communication that it can bind challenge and objective for them to work towards together. And then getting even bigger and even higher off the ground, we have that aerial adventure park, which is over 33 bridges and elements that are up in the air. We have a 40-foot free fall, quick flight element on the back of our tower with 2 climbing walls as well, a giant swing, and a 600-foot zip line. There's a lot of individual choices on which of those bridges, which of those activities you want to do up on the course. So it really instills a lot of agency and choice into that programming. And it's just a lot of fun to have groups out and utilize all of those tools to help drive forth the mission.
Well, it is a lot of fun. I've been up there twice and would love to go again. I often wonder when the times that I've been up there, what do you do when somebody's up there, Peter, and they get sort of stuck, kind of frozen, because it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, at least for me at my age.
Absolutely. And we're stepping outside of our comfort zones and we're doing something new that we're not doing in our everyday lives. So that's perfectly normal, pretty common for us to experience, and a really healthy response for folks to have is to have that freeze. So we like to talk through with them, talk through what they're feeling there in the moment, what they're experiencing, help them to process that up on the course. It might be looking at taking that next step forward to continue moving across that element, or giving them a little bit of a distraction and talking about what they had for breakfast that day. If we can distract the brain a little bit, they can focus on something different and keep physically moving through a challenge there. And that can be a great thing to debrief afterwards. And then we also practice challenge by choice. So if they select, hey, I'm in beyond where I'm comfortable, I don't want to go forward and I don't want to go back, I want to go down, we can get you to the ground, no problem, easily, with the help of our facilitators. We can come and give you the express ride down safely to the ground.
Yeah, that's great. I will say y'all haven't ever made me do anything I didn't want to do. So that's good. Well, Andrew, in thinking about y'all's place with our programs here at Crossnore, how do you guys interact maybe with kids that are in foster care, whether they live on our campus or they're receiving, therapy services? How do you guys serve those children?
Yeah. So we are able to be a supplement to all of our programs. During the summertime, which is just universally the best time of year for kids, we have had our residential programs. We've had cottages out every week out on our aerial adventure park that Peter was talking about. And we're also able to do some different programs throughout the school year to make sure that it's that cottages go. And it's really meaningful, I think, for kids to see their cottage parents in a different capacity, for them to see an adult experience fear and to cope with fear, and to see that person who's providing that care in a different light, and to see them in a different way. And also for cottage parents to see kids differently, to see and be reminded how courageous and brave kids are and how resilient they are. Also, all of our outpatient services are able to provide it. So, we work alongside all of our therapists. So whether that's a graduation from therapy, or if it's, a kid getting to know their therapist for the first time, or some kind of whatever's the reason, we work alongside our staff. And like Peter talked about, challenge by choice is just so important for us. And for kids who often have little choice or little agency, the adventure park, we have the opportunity to really drive home that they get to make all the choices, that they're in charge, that they know what's right for them. And it's small but significant moments that really allow our kids to choose what's right for them.
Yeah, that's terrific. So just thinking about, all of the work that you guys do, I know that there are also opportunities for the public. So Peter, can you tell us, if I see the ropes course from Renolda Road and I'm interested in, bringing my kids or whatever, what kind of opportunities just, for the average person driving by are there?
Absolutely. So we have pay to play opportunities every second Saturday of every month, which is just a great way to sign up. No minimum number of folks in your group required. Come on out and join us on the ropes course for a ton of fun. It's a great opportunity. But then if you are looking for something like a birthday party or a small group private tour kind of setting, we can set that up for you as well. We just ask for a minimum of 6 for something like that. And we'd love to get you out onto the course.
That's great. And then one of your major focuses, Andrew, is some training opportunities. So talk about, what does the corporate training side look like?
Yeah. So we, Peter and I, do a lot of team building. And as team builders, I'll speak for myself. I kind of loathe the phrase team building, because it's just used so much and without really like a collective understanding of what's the purpose and what's the modality. How are we doing it? What are we working towards? And so what's really important for us is that we create opportunities for teams to reflect on their values, to reflect on their practices, to reflect on their culture, and to make sure that those things are thriving. It's really important for teams to tend to that health of the team. We know that the envelope of a team or of an organization can be a resilient factor. It's what can buffer people from stress. And so it's really important to tend to that, so that when adversity and when stress comes along, that we're able to ride through that. And so, we do a lot of different types of team building. It's really customized based on the goals of the team, whether it's, we really just need to have fun. Our team has not had fun in a long time, and we've experienced a lot of loss, and we need a change of pace. We can do that. Or if it's something, we're about to go into our next our next strategic plan, and we need to really make sure that we've got a solid foundation of trust and a solid vision, and we each know where our gifts are plugging into the collective goal. And so all of these things that we're talking about, that Peter and I have talked about with the Outdoor Adventure Center, we're able to use those flexibly to meet those goals. And also we do a lot that's on the ground. For a lot of people, getting 40 feet in the air is not the type of chaos that they need. And that's okay. We will bring a different kind of risk and challenge to teams that need something different. We want to make sure that it's accessible, that it includes everybody, that there's multiple ways for people to engage and to come on board.
And so it sounds to me like, from the team building perspective, and I'm like you, that's not probably my favorite phrase. But if a team comes and, you're not just throwing them up there, doing some exercises, whatever, and then hoping that team building happens. Like, there's a debriefing process. Maybe even up front, you talk with the leader or whatever about what it is that they're trying to accomplish. Yeah,
exactly. And, a lot of the science about team building really points at psychological safety. And we're looking at the regularity of interactions between coworkers. Those are things that kind of are some indicators of kind of really high performing, thriving teams. And a lot of that requires that we have trust. Not trust that I know that how Peter's going to act every day, so I can try to put him into a box and make him predictable, but a trust that I know that I can show Peter the parts of me that are in process, that are in development, that are constantly under development. And I know that Peter's not going to take that, and he's not going to use that to harm me, but is going to see my humanity, and I'm going to see his. And through that process, we're able to build a team that where everyone is able to belong. And so, we're doing a lot of upfront work, and then there's the action itself, and then we're unpacking what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going through that what, so what, now what kind of process to make sure that the experience is transferred into the day-to-day work context.
Yeah, I love that, because there's a lot of times that, maybe it's an agenda item on a meeting or a team meeting or something. You're going to do team building. And so you do this little exercise, and then you move on to the next agenda item. And, how much team building did you really do? And, so I love that sort of preparation ahead of time, and then the debriefing afterwards. That sounds terrific. So, well, we also know that there's always a cost to everything, right? So is this kind of thing costly? Again, whether it's me just wanting to, come have a good Saturday with some friends or family, or if I do have a corporate need, a team that we want to work on something specific, what kind of costs are we looking at?
Yeah. So in terms of our team building work, we are really, it is really important to us to work with groups' schedules, budgets, goals, and to provide programs that work for all of those needs. And so we do have pricing that is kind of our start. We do have discounts for nonprofits and educational groups. And it's, we don't ever want budget to be something that prevents a group from coming with us. In terms of our kind of private tours, that Peter was talking about, where you got to have 6 people. So if that's a bachelor or bachelorette party, or you want to have a birthday party, or you want to get your neighbors together, or a family reunion, whatever, those private tours are $45 per person. And that's for a 2-hour tour. And then our pay-to-play price, which will continue through October. Again, that's every second Saturday. That's $48 per person, and that's for a 2-hour slot.
Yeah, that sounds great. Well, I'd probably be remiss in not giving you the chance to talk about the cost for when we are providing services to children that we serve. There's a lot of therapy that is covered, maybe under insurance plans or Medicaid or something like that. But this sort of what we commonly refer to as adventure-based counseling type services aren't covered by any kind of insurance plan. So is there an opportunity for folks to help support that part of your work?
Yeah, great question. So we have our Discover Scholarship, and our Discover Scholarship makes our residential and therapeutic services for our children and families possible. So Peter and I, like you identified, we are not able to bill for any of our services. And so we know that the outcomes that are associated, and those are really important towards building our hope and healing and building resilience for our young people. And so that's why we are so committed to it. So if you want to support the Discover Scholarship, that's available on our website.
Absolutely. And I'll have show notes. This also, the audio comes up as a blog or on our blog as a podcast. And so there'll be some show notes there and some links that you can check out as well. Well, before we end our time today, I really want to give you guys a chance to talk about some outcomes. We can talk all day long about how cool the High Ropes course is or about all the training opportunities that you guys provide. But when you really hear a story of how it has affected somebody's life, I think that is super impactful. So, Peter, I'll let you go first, and then Andrew, you can wrap us up with another story. But just tell us, what have you seen at the Outdoor Adventure Center? How is that really affecting somebody's life?
Absolutely. And this is kind of hard because we have so many great success stories.
That's one a piece.
Yeah. I think a recent one for me was one child that was practicing some great challenge by choice and how they decided they wanted to show up that day and put on the harness and go up onto the first level of the course and give it a try, even though they knew it was something new and different and maybe beyond what they wanted to fully dive into that day, but they were challenging to step outside of that comfort zone and to push those boundaries. You see so much learning, growth, and development occur there. But they got up onto that first level and took a step out onto one of the first bridges and said, nope, I want to go back immediately. And they spent about 20 minutes there trying to negotiate that first edge before selecting, this just isn't for me today. I'm not looking to go across this bridge, being up in the air, doing this new activity. That's my limit for today. And having that courage to select that and go back down to the ground and have some time to observe their peers going through the course and hearing the encouragement and hearing all the fun that they were having. And then saying, well, going through the majority of the course, again, that's not what I'm feeling today. That's not how I'm showing up and being in the moment. But they went back up and crossed a single bridge to go over and do the zip line, and just the joy on their face when they get down to the other side. And as soon as they take that first step off, they're hanging there in the harness and trusting that system and trusting the guides around them and having that trust in themselves is just a great highlight to share. And I know that they carry that experience and will probably come back next time and be that much more confident saying, well, maybe I won't go and do all the rest of the course. Maybe I will, but I'm sure going to ride that zip line 20 times during our time together.
I don't blame them. The zip line that's the fun part to me too. Sure. But I loved what you said about just having the courage to step down. There's a lot of times we would think that that's a failure, but it's really not. It's the courage to make a choice that's right for you in that moment. And for that child that day, the right choice was to step down. And that does take a lot of courage, especially for a child.
Yeah. And then to come back up and be pushing that again to go and do the zip line and just that bravery. Yeah, we talk a lot about being fearless and that not really being a true thing, that we all have this level of fear like Andrew was talking about earlier, and really showcasing that bravery in the moment and how that individual was conquering that fear, was stepping beyond that and being brave, with some great coping strategies that I know they can implement in other facets of their life.
Absolutely. Thank you, Peter. What about you, Andrew? What's one of your favorite stories?
Yeah. One note on Peter's story. One thing that I love is the next time that this kid comes back that they are going to go to Peter and they're going to say, "Hey, Mr. Peter, do you remember last time when I did the zip line?" And they're going to just have that, like the memory and that felt sense of accomplishment that is just as fresh as if they had just gone on the zip line for the first time. It is just such a rich moment to be part of that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. For me, so we recently worked with the entire faculty of North Forsyth High School it was their end of year, kind of last day of school, going off into summer, going off into what's a brief break before the next school year. And we got a lot of feedback from them that their favorite part of the whole day. We did a lot of work on kind of looking back on the school year and things that they wanted to kind of hold on to and things that they needed to let go of. But then at the end of the day, the things that staff were sharing that was most meaningful to them was that they got to see people that they had never met before, that they had never had an opportunity to talk to. They worked in the same building all year, and they had this opportunity to have this brand new experience with them and to get to know their names. And also people were saying, my favorite thing the entire day was actually cheering on my coworkers, to be able to watch them be successful, to watch them to conquer their fears. And people just, really capping off the end of a challenging, really hard school year with such camaraderie and connection and valuing of each other was super meaningful.
That is a terrific story. I can imagine, even in our organization, there's so many people that we don't get to see on a daily basis. So that was probably very meaningful to them to get to be in that group. So thank you guys so much for sharing those stories, but especially for being here today, talking about Miracle Heights Adventures and all the great work that you do, whether it's with the public or a corporate team, and certainly with the children that we offer services here to at Crossnore. So I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate what you do. And if you guys have any questions, check out our website. You can email these guys at mha@crossnore.org, and they can answer any questions that you have. There's more information about their program on our website. And then, like I said, this Facebook Live will also be available as a podcast. You can re-listen, and we'll have some show notes on our blog too. So thanks again for being here with us for The Way Home, and we look forward to seeing you next Tuesday.